Alrighty, so here we have the game playing for third and fourth place. In the blue, we have the Bad News Beaters from AZRD. We've got number 00, Bully Holiday, who is the captain. 1057, Moxie Mayhem. 122, Castrator. 1547, Sassy Mean Claudine. Number 21, RC Autobot. 218, Clever Derby Name. 333, Vixen Tequila. 350, Cupcake Kamikaze. 38, Colette Razorcat. 56, D's Nuts. 585, Tupacalypse. 618, Westward Ho. Number 70, Molly Horman. And 79, Kalaka, being coached by Fred Nuts and Curie Pie.
All right, and we'll go over the roster here for Northern Arizona Roller Derby, the Whiskey Rollers, in just a moment. In that jam, we had Westward Ho out there up against Halloween. Westward Ho putting 4 points on the board for the Bad News Beaters. And on the jammer line, we're looking at number 5, Lil Kitty Split, up against number 1547, Sassy Mean Claudine. And a quick lead jammer situation for Sassy Mean Claudine, coming around on scoring. Beautiful little apex hop. Both jammers in scoring position, coming around on the inside. Claudine meeting the back of the Northern Arizona defense, calls off the jam. 2 points on the board, no points, Northern Arizona. And introducing in the white and pink Northern Arizona Roller Derby, the Whiskey Rollers, number 0, Wanna Ash Kickin'. 1031, Halloween. 1112, Killer Queen McBee. 222, Venus Death Trap. 24, Chaos Catalyst. 26, Destroyer. 33, Creature Feature. 420, Cap'n Jack. 44, Lethal Weapon. 47, Cleopatricide. Number 5, Lil Kitty Split. 713, Ruthless Wrecker. 803, Muzak Morris. 88, Joya Destroyer, coached by Swamp. And our introduction, my name is Party on Barth.
My name is Ryan.
And we got Thrash Panda over here on production. And that's your third jam. 4 more points going on the board for the Bad News Beaters.
Alrighty, and on the jammer line, we have number 21, RC Autobot for the Bad News Beaters, and number 1031, Halloween from the Whiskey Rollers.
All right, looks like a little bit of contact just before the starting whistle there. RC Autobot, though, coming through, picking up lead for the Bad News Beaters.
Looks like the Bad News Beaters lineup is a little short at the moment with 2 blockers in the box. However, RC doesn't seem to have a problem with that. We got Sassy Mean Claudine sneaking around on that outside, catching a quick lead.
And with that one there, that is 5 for 5 on lead for the Bad News Beaters so far in this bout. So you can see that directly affecting the score there with that 14-0 lead. The Beaters are just able to get the points, get off the track, call the jam. And exiting the track, Lil Kitty Split coming around on scoring position. Claudine, though, picking up 4 points on the board. Kills the penalty, releasing Westward Ho, calls off the jam. Timeout call. All right, as we're in that team timeout here, I want to do a shout out for some of our vendors. It's Sunday afternoon. We want to make sure these vendors don't have to take too much inventory back. So you definitely want to come check out all of our vendors here, including Stakesware, the first brand offering contact wear for women, stakes wear just behind me here. Some of the best padding, especially if you're fresh meat. I highly recommend some good old crash pads. So Ryan, I'm not gonna lie, I did show up late today. How have the bouts been so far?
They've actually been very aggressive, very fast-paced, super fun to watch. I can imagine frustrating to play in as a skater just because it was relentless. There's no breaks happening. It's just go, go, go the whole time.
Love it. Yeah, if that's lives up at all close to what we had yesterday, these teams, they know each other so well.
They really do.
Which that just completely complicates it. But then nobody wants to give up a point.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely does. Well, and in the last game, last few games, we've definitely seen that hard impact and those teams knowing each other so well, having played each other quite a few times, definitely helped out because they knew each other's weaknesses perfectly.
Makes sense. And Clever Derby Name picking up lead jammer for the Bad News Beaters up against Cap'n Jack out there. Cap'n Jack approaching on the outside, has the star in hand, just knocked out of bounds and recycled by Bully Holiday. RC Autobot taking Cap'n Jack all the way back. Looks like we've got a power jam now. Clever Derby Name had lead, so we're going to go 2 minutes. Cap'n Jack taking advantage of the 30-second power jam, gets out, is in scoring position. Going to try to put the first points up. Give the Whiskey Rollers a chance in the bout. There's a nice apex hop. 5 points on turn 2.
Cap'n Jack fighting tremendously against the Bad News Beaters, having to push through, sneak through those holes, and just slipping by on that inside line past two of the blockers from the Beaters.
Definitely a move that the Jammers love to have on that curve there. When they don't have to curve with the pack, can take that straight line. Clever Derby Name doing the same thing, that inside line wide open on turn 4. Sprints through, coming out of the box, picks up 4 points. Cap'n Jack working against the front side of the defense, trying to stretch the Bad News Beaters, but the tripod's not moving. Clever Derby Name coming through, but is headed to the box. That's a second penalty on this jam.
I believe that was a cut one after skating by a skater on the Whiskey Rollers on the outside.
Cap'n Jack approaching one last pass here on turn number 1, just knocked out of bounds, and that's the 2-minute jam. So we'll see what pocket points we had in there. It looks like an 11-point advantage on here, this one. So this puts the Whiskey Rollers back in there, 22-15, 7-point advantage for the Beaters.
We'll be starting with a power jam for the Whiskey Rollers with 10:31 Holly Ween, the captain of the Whiskey Rollers.
So the Rollers trying to take advantage of the power start here, want to get that lead there. They've broken the streak of the Bad News Beaters with leads, so see what they can do here.
You guys see the scoreboard a little better now?
And just, able to take the hit there, stayed in. Halloween picks up lead.
Clever Derby Name racing out of the penalty box, trying to get up to the pack, make her initial.
There with one last push there. Halloween able to pick up 5 more.
Passing the panty over to Westward Ho.
So this is one of those things, especially with Bad News Beaters. You can see a pretty all-star jammer with the pivot stripe just about every single jam, between Westward Ho being out there, RC Autobot. They don't have to be wearing the star, and they're still out there dangerous.
Absolutely.
And looks like, I'm going to guess, I didn't see the hand signal. I think an official review.
I don't see anything flashing.
No, maybe not. Well, so we've got a coach and a captain in the center. The refs are off to the side.
This is an official review for the Bad News Beaters.
There we go. And there we are, our jam timer back out there doing a solid job. all of our NSOs, our skating officials, our non-skating officials. Big shout out to the volunteers who aren't doing any officiating. You work in the door, work in the concessions, making sure everything's running. Big shout out to everybody out here who's helping make this tournament possible. This has been a great event this weekend. All right, so it looks like the official review has gone into the refs, so we're going to go ahead and see what their decision is on it. And I honestly have no idea what they're disputing.
Are they still doing a raffle? That's a different raffle than yesterday. Between the last two games. Okay. I'm really regretting not coming in and prepping.
All right, and as the official review is still getting looked at here, want to do a shout out for the Tucson Roller Derby Brats. They're still doing a raffle. They had an awesome painting yesterday that was raffled off. Looks like today they've got a reversible homemade purse. Looks like a jammer helmet. Get your raffle tickets. 1 ticket for $1, 8 tickets for $5. The raffle's going to be after this game, so this is your chance to get it. Also, check out at Catalina High, October 26th. They're going to be playing a game there, so check out those juniors. I don't care what anybody says. Junior Derby is probably some of the best stuff out there right now.
Definitely is.
Okay, check. I'm going to check the chair.
All right, so it looks like the official review has come back. We will hold on it for just a moment. Oh, yeah, let's see here. On the jammer line, Low Kitty split. Up against Sassy Mean Claudine. And Sassy working on the inside there. Kitty Split taking the inside line, picks up lead for the Whiskey Rollers.
Sassy Mean Claudine, however, breaking and coming up as fast as she can, trying to catch up to her. Beaters looking to speed up that pack. Try to keep that jammer from scoring any points.
So that jam was the first lead for Low Kitty Split so far of this game there. Able to pick up a couple points, though, because that pack did start picking up full speed there.
And it does look like we are actually at a tie game at the moment.
22 all. Thrash Panda, what was up on that official review?
So it looks like the beaters were trying to say that the white jammer made contact while during a jump. So they wanted to go ahead and get a call made on that. Unfortunately, the officials didn't agree with their review, and no call will stand.
All right, so we got a no call and a loss of official review in the first half here for the Bad News Beaters. With the tie score 22, but that's all right because they're going to go ahead and take lead here. Westward Ho out in front, lead jammer. Up against Cap'n Jack, working against the front side of the Bad News Beaters defense. One more to beat, makes the hit. Both jammers in scoring position.
Westward Ho getting through, getting their 4 points, and then just calling it off before Holly Wing can get back to the pack and collect any points.
Always a hard one if you don't get lead when Westward Ho's out there on the other team with the star. Westward's always going to be able to catch where you are, make sure that they don't give up any points easily.
That was Captain Jack, not Holly Wing. I can't function.
Split on the last one. What was it? What did they score? Split got lead. 4-0.
All right, looks like we've got Holly Wing going up against RC Autobot. RC Autobot slipping through and getting lead. Got Holly Wing fighting against that tough Beaters wall. Bouncing around left and right. RC Autobot coming through for 5 in the sky.
Not a lot of room on that lane 1 there, that inside lane, but RC had enough, took it. Hollyween coming around also in scoring, so both jammers are live. RC knocked inbounds to the infield, calls off the jam just in time. No points on the board for the Whiskey Rollers. Bad News Beaters adding 3 points.
Did I just coach that from the mic? I hope not. You didn't catch it? Okay.
All right, and on the jammer line, another matchup. We've seen them before. Sassy Mean Claudine up against Lil Kitty Split.
Got the Whiskey Rollers pulling up ahead. Looks like they were trying to speed up that pack. But Claudine caught that and got out lead.
Lil Kitty Split just caught on the cut. Got pulled over here on turn 3. Claudine's going to have lead and a power jam. That was an interesting set of formations at the beginning here because the Bad News Beaters had 1 dropped on the jammer line, 3 up toward the pivot, and the Rollers just took off running. So that was a split pack almost right out the gate.
Absolutely. You know, and in a different instance, that strategy might have worked absolutely fantastically in their favor. But in that instance, you know, Sassy Mane Claudine definitely saw it and took advantage of it and just made way with it.
Well, if this jam can show anything, Claudine is not scared of a split set of blockers.
Absolutely not.
Cutting right through all of them.
Not scared to make that contact. Not shying away from those hits. Taking those hits in stride and running with them.
Knockout there for Claudine, though, taking inbounds and just outruns the blocker to re-enter. Claudine approaching the brace tripod on the front side. Lil Kitty Split yielding position, making sure not to draw the track cut. Illegal contact called on Bully Holidays, headed to the box.
And Sassy Mane Claudine coming around for another 4-point pass.
And this is actually Claudine's first multi-pass jam, putting up 19 points so far and not showing any indication of stopping. And right as I say that, Claudine calls off the jam.
Just got to prove you wrong, man. Got to prove you wrong. We have a 22-0 jam for the Bad News Beaters. Absolutely phenomenal job by everyone on the track.
Definitely what you want to do when you got that 22-22 tie earlier. Weren't happy with that. Split it almost immediately. On the jammer line, Cap and Jack versus Westward Ho. Little jammer defensive action over here on turn 4. Westward Ho trying to hold Cap and Jack. Ooh. Just able to release. So Westward Ho looked like trying to hold Cap and Jack long enough to get reabsorbed. Cap and Jack just able to break away before the Bad News Beaters could catch up. Westward Ho calls off the jam.
And now we've got an official review from the Whiskey Rollers.
So under 5 minutes played, and both teams have used an official review here in the first half.
We will see if they will get lucky. Maybe be able to retain their official review in this instance.
It's always nice when you see an official review and you see the captain or the C or the A, either of them skate out very confidently with the O. They knew exactly the moment it happened on the track what they were going to call here. We're going to see if the refs agree with them, though. Head ref on this crew, Lazy Ace, taking the call. And another big shout out to our track maintenance crew here. I've seen a lot of track maintenance crews around. These guys are top notch. Just everything is fixed before it's even an issue.
Absolutely on the ball. I mean, they're fixing stuff that I don't even see.
Prevention is the best fix. All right, so it looks like the official review is into the refs. We're going to see what the call is in a bit here. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's Sunday on a tournament. The announcers, we're kind of taking it a little slower.
Crowd's a little quieter. Everyone's a bit more tired.
Right.
We will definitely see a ramp up, though, for that first and second place game. I can almost guarantee it's going to be quite loud in here.
That's always the hard thing with a tournament. In my experience, the 3-4 game is usually the game I want to see, because that's the one where somebody else is playing for that last, that third spot is always so big. So usually that's when the energy is high, but we always want to save it for the 1-2. Looking at who's playing today in the 1-2, well, we've got the Surly Girlies up against SRP. Yeah, this has not been a disappointing weekend of Derby at all.
No, and that game is definitely going to be a very fast-paced, very aggressive game, as all of their games are.
All right, so it looks like the official review, Lazy Ace going ahead and giving the decision back. We'll find out what it is in a little bit here. All right, so everybody back into position. Looks like the decision. So Thrash Panda will have word on that official review in just a bit. But for the next jam here, we're going to be looking at Clever Derby Name versus Halloween.
It's the fourth start for both.
All right, Halloween moving to the front side there. Bad News Beaters taking front side on the defense. Clever Derby Name outside line. Lane 4 is open. Picks up lead.
Yeah, Dee's Nuts trying her best to hold back Halloween.
Looks like Kalaka called on a multiplayer block on 2, so the Bad News Beaters are going to send one to the box. And NAZRD is about to bring one out of the box. Clever Derby Name with a big hit inside of the starting box there. Calls off the jam. Looks like no points either team. Good pressure by Halloween there.
All right, looks like we've got RC Autobot jamming for the Bad News Beaters against Lil Kitty Split for the Whiskey Rollers.
And Thrash Panda, I think we had that official review a bit ago. What was going on with that?
So the Whiskey Rollers wanted to get a charging on a down player against the Blue Jammer. Unfortunately, the refs didn't see it or they didn't agree with the call. So the Whiskey Rollers will lose their official review.
All right, so both teams have had unsuccessful official reviews. So no influence there, but RC Autobot here taking lead jam for the Bad News Brawlers.
And collecting 5 points. It looks like we got a little bit of escape malfunction on the track. Got a wheel pop off. RC coming around for another 5 points.
Wow.
Good.
And there's a lot there. Of course, RC's an amazing jammer there. There are blue jerseys everywhere on this track at the moment here. So the Bad News Beaters are just putting blockers everywhere for offensive help.
We've got Kalaka and Westward Ho teaming up together, trying to stop Lil Kitty Split as much as they can. Definitely working.
Looks like Molly Horman's kind of floating in the back here, breaking up a little bit of the Whiskey Rollers defense, helping to spring RC while the braced tripod is just holding up on the front side. And with this pass here, looking at 25 points so far. This is RC Autobots also first multi-pass. So Bad News Beater Jammers are just putting up points in spades here.
All right, looks like we've got the Whiskey Rollers pivot headed to the box with the star in her hand.
So that's a bummer there. Lethal Weapon does take the star, so we get a successful pass there, but then gets called on the cut there. So that's giving a power jam by loss of the pivot.
Destroyer trying her hardest to knock RC Autobot out of bounds.
Now that's a heads-up play I know every coach would love to see. Destroyer was knocked out. RC went out also. See a lot of blockers tend to give up the play at that point. DC right back on the track, re-engaged. But 3 more points on the board for RC. 38-point jam for RC Autobot.
That brings her to 50 points total.
So with 13 and a half minutes left in the first period, RC Autobots already hit 50 points in this game.
Which is about almost half, actually over half of the,
Total.
actually half of the points scored for the Bad News Beaters in this game.
Pack picking
We
up speed
don't
here,
have
coming
any-
into turn number 3.
And it looks like we actually don't have a lead yet declared. And as I say that, they declare a Sassy Ming Claudine lead coming through. Definitely a hard fight.
Little old school, almost bank track there. The pack had almost gone the full pack before the full track. Before we had a lead.
Absolutely. Took almost a full track for lead to be declared. Both teams doing their best to hold back the opposing jammer. Doing a fantastic job, too.
Wow, give it up to the Whiskey Rollers defense there. Waterfalling Claudine all the way through turn 3 and 4. Claudine, though, completely holding through, picking up the points, reapproaching here. There it is again, 5 more points on the board.
Ooh, Sassy Mean Claudine taking that hit and throwing one of her own into one of the Whiskey Roller blockers.
This Lethal Weapon back on the track with the star on helmet here, trying to put some points up for the Whiskey Rollers. Meanwhile, the Rollers just trying to get some stoppage on Claudine here.
We've got a blocker coming out of the box, giving some great offense for the Whiskey Rollers jammer.
Bad News Beaters just knocking Whiskey Roller blockers off the track, trying to break up some room. Looks like we've got a Whiskey Roller blocker here, number 0, sent to the box with a forearm.
Sassy Mean Claudine coming around for yet another 5-point pass, putting her at 19 points this jam.
And that's 2 minutes. Wow, so with those last 2 jams there, we're looking at a 113-22 advantage. Still, real early, 11 minutes in the game here, but man, Bad News Beaters didn't come to play. Or as Derby Twitter would say, they are not here to fornicate with spiders.
No. Clever Derby name coming through with that quick lead on that inside line. Molly Horman drawing back. Captain Jack in the back of the pack, meeting up with her fellow teammates, Billie Holiday and Kalaka.
So with this jam here, this is a matchup we've seen a couple of times here. Captain Jack still has not gotten lead yet. Meanwhile, Clever Derby names had 80% lead 4 out of 5 times.
Captain Jack pulling a cut track on that one. Looks like she came in just before Molly Horman's hips.
Got some veteran blocking out there, just throwing those hips back at just the right moment. This is, again, not what the Whiskey Rollers want to see. They don't need that star sitting in the penalty box, because here comes Clever Derby name on a 5-point pass again.
Whiskey Rollers looking like they're trying to speed up that pack. Westward Ho spinning their jammer around.
Clever Derby name having one of those moments over here on turn 4 where you just clench your teeth. You're waiting for her to get knocked out. Stays in bound, picks up the points. That's the jam. 5 more.
And just before the end of that jam, we've got Kalaka headed to the box.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and add Clever Derby name. That's as the 3rd jammer on the Bad News Beaters to put up over 15 points in a jam so far. Or at least 15, excuse me.
All right, we've got Cupcake Kamikaze. This is her first jam of the game. Not sure if she's jammed this weekend. I think she might have jammed yesterday. I don't believe I saw her jamming this morning. But it's definitely her first jam of this game.
So with Cupcake out there, Captain Jack is able to pick up lead for the first time today. I definitely saw Cupcake yesterday jamming a couple times because I was looking for her pink helmet with the yellow cover. Throws me off every time. All right, looks like both jammers are out here. Captain Jack picks up the points at the last second, calls off the jam. So it looks like that's RC Autobot with the star sim. I missed the star pass, but an obvious star pass that happened there. RC trying to get points at the last minute, just destroyed a Whiskey Roller blocker with a hit. Everybody's back up, though.
All right, we've got
on the jammer line, Lil Kitty Split versus Bully Holiday.
also her first jam of the game. She didn't jam in the game this morning, but she did jam yesterday.
Ridiculous blocking there. That was insane by the Bad News Beaters. Bully had a wide open lane one there, barely got caught on the turn, was not worried about one blocker and just kept going.
It's definitely the kind of O that you want to see as a jammer. And coming in with some jammer hits.
And Bully having a quick word with the jam ref there. 4 points on the board. Bully and Lil Kitty Split were both coming around. Bully tried to make the hit. Kitty took the hit. Bully calls off the jam. On the jammer line, the first time we've seen these two with the star on their helmet in the black and white for Northern Arizona. We've got Killer Queen McBee, and in the blue and yellow, somebody's nuts. That's D's nuts. Woo! Last second hit there by Kalaka knocks Killer Queen McBee, but Killer Queen McBee was able to pick up lead before being knocked out of bounds. These nuts coming out. These nuts doing exactly what you want as a jammer in the back position there. Had come out of the pack, lead was behind the blockers. Killer Queen McBee calls off the jam, make sure no points go on the board.
RC Autobot taking a seat in the penalty box. Not quite sure what for, but the Beaters have one too many on the track. They have 4 on the track. Not my turn. Not my turn. All right, Cupcake Kamikaze back on that jammer line again for the Bad News Beaters, looking like she's up against Captain Jack. Captain Jack pulling lead.
So Captain Jack with second
Cupcake
lead there.
Kamikaze right hot on her tail.
So this is a matchup that the Whiskey Rollers are liking. Captain Jack is 2 for 2 for lead up against Cupcake, but Cupcake making sure the pressure was on there, not letting any points go on the board for the Whiskey Rollers.
Back on that jammer line, we got Sassy Mean Claudine against Lil Kitty Split.
And it looks like we've got one blocker each inside the box. So we're going to be starting out with the 3 blockers on each team. Bad News Beaters again dropping 2 blockers on the backside, immediate bridge to make sure there's a pack. Claudine, though, coming out there, pushing through on the inside, picks up lead.
It's the strategy that definitely paid off for them.
Claudine reapproaching. The Bad News Beaters really working with some fun defense here. They're not making a lot of forms until right when the jammer approaches. Claudine with a big hit right outside, coming into turn 3. Lil Kitty Split coming through, was able to pick up 3 points there. Claudine getting 2 points. Claudine having a hard time calling off the jam when she took that fall on the outside there. On the jammer line, we're looking at Killer Queen McBee for the Whiskey Rollers up against Clever Derby, named for the Bad News Beaters.
Molly Horman and Westward Ho hanging out in the back, while the front of the pack has Captain Bully Holiday and Tupacalypse. Clever Derby name just sneaking past that opposing player in the back, working up front, trying to push up that Whiskey Rollers wall.
Oh, that toe stop work by Killer Queen did not work. Queen's headed to the box. That's a power jam. Clever Derby name just getting caught, knocked out of bounds one more time. If I'm not mistaken, lead is still open.
Lead is still open. And
Clep-
it's definitely going to be a fight. You've got Clever Derby Name as lead.
Announcer's curse. We're only going to say good things. Clever Derby Name on the inside of turn 3 there. We got 2 refs making an exact failure call. Clever Derby Name on the outside.
Ooh. Did she manage to fall inbounds? She did not.
She's 5 for 6 on lead.
Oh, penalty is being retracted. Penalty
Okay.
was retracted.
That was a hard one there because the outside pack ref was right there, didn't call the penalty. Clever Derby Name was called by the jam ref on the inside. Good coordination by the refs there to make sure that call was correct. So 4 more points going on the board for the Bad News Beaters. I think I saw points up there for the Rollers, but we'll see if they go, if I was correct. Nope, no points going on the board. Yeah, that was a great little moment with the ref crew there. The jam ref thought the cut was there. The OPR was in perfect position for it. They made sure their coordination was, the communication was set up correctly. Great job on that no call there.
Got Cupcake Kamikaze going up against Captain Jack yet again. It's definitely a combo that they're liking. Cupcake Kamikaze getting lead on this one.
So that's the first time Cupcake Kamikaze has gotten the lead going up against Captain Jack so far in this bout. Oh, RC Autobot trying to draw a cut penalty. Did not get it there, but immediately re-engaging. Cupcake able to put 5 points on the board.
Holly Ween taking that jammer panty from Captain Jack and just sneaking through on that outside line. Coming up on that pack looking to get some points. See if she did not get any points on that pass.
Cupcake with a great little sidestep on the last blocker. There was a Whiskey Roller blocker, had her dead to rights right between 3 and 4 here. 1 step to the outside, able to come through and call off the jam. On the jammer line, Low Kitty Split versus Bully Holiday. Low Kitty Split using a blocker there as a battering ram. Worked for about a block.
Destroyer hitting Bully Holiday out, able to draw her back. Bully Holiday taking a little bit of a spill, being forced to run back.
Had one of those moments, there was a blocker knocked out of bounds, looking at the OPR, wondering, did I just cut somebody? No call, so everybody's still on the track. Bully comes through, picks up lead. Low Kitty Split recycle back all the way. Bully reapproaching, coming into scoring position. Just knocked out of inbounds on number 3. Low Kitty Split headed to the box. This is going to be another Bad News Beaters power jam. Bully taking the hit from the Whiskey Roller blockers. Penalty called, going to be sending number 26 Destroyer to the box. Bully calls off the jam.
And sends us into halftime.
That was a really fast half.
It really was. Honestly, didn't feel like it had been that long, and can only imagine that the next half is going to be pretty similar to that in the fast-paced.
So it looks like Northern Arizona, the Whiskey Rollers, are going to start out with a jammer and a blocker inside the box to come back from the second half. We'll be back in about 14 and a half minutes. We'll see you then.
All right, we got about 15 seconds left until go time. We've got RC Autobot starting on the jam line for the beaters. And we've got the jammer and a blocker in the penalty box for the Whiskey Rollers. RC getting some help from her blockers, getting hit out by the pivot. Having a fight against Holly Ween. Being declared lead.
She's 4 for 4.
RC is 4 for 4 on her leads.
Well, that's happening. A momentarily full penalty box for Northern Arizona until their jammer is released back into the pack. That's Lil Kitty Split all the way into turn 3 now. RC, however, completes a scoring pass, picking up 5 more points, adding to the beater lead. Lil Kitty Split still fighting against a 4-wall that's stacked up near the jam line.
RC just blowing through that Whiskey Rollers wall, finding that hole and taking advantage of it. Speeding up on the Whiskey Rollers jammer. Lil Kitty Split. Taking a bit of a spill after a hit from one of the Whiskey Rollers. And calling it off before the Whiskey Rollers jammer could come back around. So we've got a 17-5 jam for the beaters.
So a 12-point advantage on that first jam in the second period here. Gonna see what the Whiskey Rollers can do. On the jammer line, looks like Cupcake Kamikaze up against Cap'n Jack. Bad News Beaters putting 2 blockers right on the back there, trying to catch Cap'n Jack right off the jammer line, and it worked.
Molly Horman throwing a pretty big shoulder into Captain Jack, pushing her out of bounds.
Opens up the opportunity. Cupcake Kamikaze picking up lead.
Tupac swinging back that jammer, making her go all the way to the back after a hit out.
It looks like a forearm penalty is called against one of the Whiskey Roller blockers. Captain Jack had taken off the star, was looking at doing a star pass there, didn't need it cleared. Cupcake Kamikaze picks up points, calls off the jam. 4-point jam for the Bad News Beaters.
And back on the line, we've got Holly Ween against Sassy Mean Claudine. This is a matchup we've seen a couple times.
And looks like an official timeout called from the center. Going to give everybody a moment there to kind of get their strategy back in place and kind of built up. So I'm not going to lie, and this is one of those weird tangents. It's raining in Tucson. I'm from Albuquerque. It doesn't rain over here, I heard.
Rarely. Actually got a surprising bit of rain considering I'm told monsoon season is over. But I have seen a significant amount of rain since the end of monsoon season. So
I could actually tell you why it's raining here today.
And coming with the report of the weather here, we'd like to throw it to Thrash Panda.
Well, late in the fall season, moving into winter, in the northern part of our country, especially around Utah and up, there's a low front that keeps pushing weather systems into Arizona that normally during the early parts of summer would continue out into the Pacific. So last Tuesday, Flagstaff got a lot of snow, and part of that system has been spiraling around, stuck down here in the southwest, and that's why Tucson's getting hit with the remnants of that storm from last Tuesday.
fun times. That will make the drive home probably suck a little bit for everyone that traveled out here.
I knew it was going to rain this weekend.
See,
but I think they'll manage.
come for the Derby, leave with the meteorology. Wow.
Come for the Derby
Meteorology.
and get stuck from the rain.
How many syllables did I just put into meteorology?
A few extra. Definitely.
I was going with the Canadian version.
About 15.
I had a U.
It's fine.
Yeah, there's a U, a silent H.
That's the old English version.
That's the way they used to say it in the days of yore. All right, so it looks like the official timeout is over. So we're looking at a 178-38 advantage for the Bad News Beaters. Sassy Mean Claudine up against Holly Ween on the jammer line.
Sassy Mean Claudine sneaking through on that outside lane. Beaters did a wonderful job opening up for her, and she saw it and ran with it. She's got lead coming back around to that pack.
Claudine's just been taking full advantage, especially when they can open up lane 1 or lane 4 on the inside or the outside of the track. Slices right through it there.
Absolutely loves taking those lines. Her footwork, her edge work on those lines is absolutely phenomenal.
Claudine is now at 50 points.
And so now we've got Claudine breaking the 50-point marker also. That means there's 2 skaters on the Bad News Beaters. With 26 minutes left in this game, 2 skaters have gone over 50 points each. Not a bad jammer rotation. On the jammer line, RC Autobot versus Lil Kitty Split.
RC Autobot is the other skater on the Beaters that has over 50 points.
And lead right now.
And she's 5 for 5.
Well, part of what's leading to that 50 points there is RC Autobot is now 5 for 5 on lead jammer. So it certainly helps to be able to put the points up when you get to dictate when the jam's over.
Definitely did a nice little skip and a hop on that last pass, and now just sailing through on that outside line, slipping past everyone.
Not what the Whiskey Rollers wanted to see here. Low Kitty Split called on a track cut, sent to the box. So we got a power jam for the Bad News Beaters.
RC slipping around. Wanna ash kicking on that outside line.
Okay, somebody video that and send me the gif of that little hop. That was ridiculous. Outside line, middle, just knocked out of bounds. Well done. Well caught by Chaos Catalyst there.
Westward Ho doing an excellent job of keeping those Whiskey Roller blockers from running back.
And guess who's back on the track? Lil Kitty Split out there. Oh! So Westward Ho putting a great hit on Lil Kitty Split. Lil Kitty Split was out of the pack, ready to go. Took a hit. Westward Ho went ahead and made another hit to take Lil Kitty Split out of bounds. But Lil Kitty Split was down. Westward Ho's headed to the box for 30 seconds. Got to be careful hitting those down skaters. RC Autobot hearing it from the bench, calls off the jam. 5 more points on the board for the Beaters. Whiskey Rollers were able to put 4 more up, so that's 8 points total for them. So it's 24 to 8 jam.
And we've got our pair of jammers back on the line. We've got Cupcake Kamikaze going against Captain Jack.
So we've seen that matchup a couple times there, so we'll see him again. Looks like an official timeout real quick called.
Looks like we might be double checking the score a little bit.
And for everybody here, as we're coming into the championship game of the week, and remember, you can get a shout out by your loving announcing crew over here. $1 at the table behind the announcer booth. If you want to go ahead and donate $1 there, we will be happy to make an announcement, so long as it is family appropriate. Doesn't have to be family friendly, just appropriate.
Just mildly appropriate enough. There are children in the building. We do have the juniors in the building.
Why are those juniors in the building?
As long as they're not sitting up against the
Because they
track
live here.
seating, we're okay with juniors being here.
They are the future of Derby. We want them here.
Leading that into their raffling.
A microphone.
They're raffling. Is it? Oh, they didn't announce it though. Did they? I didn't win?
No, they're announcing it between games.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back from the official timeout there. Captain Jack up against Cupcake Kamikaze.
D's nuts knocking Captain Jack out on that inside line. Her and Kalaka both attempting to run her back. Cupcake Kamikaze fighting up at that front, trying to get through, trying to get lead. Facing a bit of an issue going against Holly Ween. It's definitely posing a challenge. Holly Ween catching a penalty on that last hit.
So it looks like a forearm called by the OPR. Had great positioning against the line there. And coming out of the pack, Cupcake Kamikaze picks up lead. Captain Jack with a great little stutter move.
Just skipping past Kalaka.
That was a good one because Captain Jack engaged. Kalaka was getting ready for the shove. Jack toe stopped around, hopped out, put the pressure on, and the jam is over.
Looks like that was a 0-0 jam. Not a common occurrence in this game. Back on the line, we've got Killer Queen McBee for the Whiskey Rollers and Captain Bully Holiday for the Bad News Beaters.
So again, Bad News Beaters running with 2 blockers on the jammer line, trying to work against Killer Queen McBee. Big hit. Bully Holiday just lighting up a Whiskey Roller blocker. All right, so it looks like Muzak Morris is back up, able to walk off the track, which is always what we want to see. So again, big thanks out there to our medics. I really don't like when our medics have to do work. I really wish they could just sit and watch Derby, but sometimes things happen. And big thanks to our refs also for keeping an eye out there, calling that jam off in time, making sure nobody took any unnecessary hits.
But on to this next jam, we've got Clever Derby Name going against Lil Kitty Split.
Derby will continue.
Indeed.
Lil Kitty Split actually is the only Whiskey Roller so far to actually score in this second half. So definitely the right skater in white that Whiskey Rollers want to put out there. Clever Derby Name, though, top scorer so far in this bout, picks up lead.
No, RC is the top scorer.
RC? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Name's got 33.
Outside line, center line. Clever Derby Name picks up the point, calls off the jam. There's all 4 on the board. Lil Kitty Split had gotten out around turn 4. There was reapproaching. The perfect 4-0 jam you want as a coach if you can't have a multi-pass. And on the jammer line, we've seen this matchup a few times. One more time here, Captain Jack versus Cupcake Kamikaze. Cupcake Kamikaze taking the inside line. Captain Jack getting caught. Molly Horman just back there again. Really liking the Bad News Beaters. Are really enjoying putting those blockers just enough to slow the Whiskey Roller jammer on the jammer line. It worked right here. Cupcake Kamikaze picking up lead.
And I believe this is the second or third time in a row that these two have been together that Cupcake Kamikaze has pulled out lead. Third time.
And that matchup was working in Captain Jack's favor, but Bad News Beaters have changed up the defense there. It's working for him. Cupcake picks up 5 more points on the board.
Captain Jack, having removed that jammer panty as a stash to get through, works for her. She's now made it through. Cupcake Kamikaze calls it off before Captain Jack can get back to the pack. And for the first time in this game, it looks like we've got number 79, Kalaka, jamming against 1031, Holly Ween.
So I'm glad that star stash worked out there in that last jam, because just before the star came off, Whiskey Rollers sent Venus Death Trap as pivot to the penalty box. So there's no pivot for the star pass, but still, blockers aren't keeping track of who's in the penalty box during play. Here we go on this jam, though.
Kalaka hopping a skip over Destroyer, getting lead, coming back around. Running full speed, jumping the apex, getting through, and calling it.
And Holly Ween just had one of those situations you don't want to run into. Coming off the jammer line, she's looking dead at RC Autobot. And Westward Ho blocking immediately off the line. Worked perfectly. Kalaka came out, picked up the points, throws the star, and is happy to be done.
She actually it was requested that Kalaka jam by a previous AZRD skater, Ginger. Sent a request asking for Kalaka to get to jam. And she definitely got her wish on this jam. Got Bully Holiday collecting lead.
Up against Lil Kitty Split there. Just want to put out there, as interactive as we are with the Facebook Live, don't go making roster calls here. Like, we really can't make sure those get done.
You know,
wow.
We really can't, but I believe it was one of those circumstances where she definitely knew she was going to get her wish. And
No lead.
was very clear that she wanted it known that she was the one that asked for that and that she could be blamed for that.
So as that was all going down there, Bully Holiday came around, picked up lead, come around, got called on a blocking with a head penalty. One of those moments where the refs called it. Bully looked at the refs and went, yeah, my bad, I'm out of here. So Bully's in the box. Lead has been lost. It's going to be a 2-point jam. Lil Kitty Split out on the track. Got to put some points up for the Whiskey Rollers here. Take advantage of this power jam.
This is Whiskey Rollers' first score in 6 jams.
Looks like Tupac picked up a forearm after blocking Lil Kitty Split. Bully Holiday back on the track, ready to jam, forcing her way through. Ooh, taking a bit of a spill. Got a no-pack situation, reform. Bully Holiday still pushing and pushing, getting her way through, made it through the pack. But Lil Kitty Split is coming up on her.
So Lil Kitty Split, these are the first points able to put on the board in 5 passes, I believe, there for the Whiskey Rollers. That's 10 points up there so far. Bully Holiday, though, putting up points. Again, this is a 2-minute jam, so nobody's calling this one off.
Clever derby name, picking up a penalty, sitting in the penalty box. Nice hit out by Molly Horman on Lil Kitty Split.
No, she was back on, Molly.
Bully Holiday is fighting and fighting to get through to pass Wanna Ash kicking.
So another one of those moments, we're always calling out the skaters. This was another good one by the refs. Lil Kitty Split had been knocked down. And remember, Bully had lead and was in the box, so lead was lost. Lil Kitty Split had been knocked out of bounds, was trying to call off the jam. The OPRs were signaling that there was a call off. Jam ref was all over it there, making sure no call off there. Gameplay continued, and we got that 2-minute jam there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to call off the jam and not be lead. That penalty sucks, and it's definitely not a good feeling.
I'm so glad they got rid of that penalty. Not fair to penalize me because the refs weren't.
Back on the track, we've got Cupcake Kamikaze going up against
Killer Queen McBee.
Thank you. Cupcake Kamikaze looking a little frustrated on that inside line. Sneaks around on that outside line and picks up lead, however. Meanwhile, the star cover is passed to Halloween on the Whiskey Rollers.
4th in a row lead.
So that's Cupcake's 4th lead. Picked up the points there. Fun little moment there. I think Cupcake thought that she had lead, was knocked out of bounds, tried to call it off, realized it wasn't there, so just ran around the outside, picked up lead, picked up the points, called off the jam. And all right, so we are seeing Halloween headed to the penalty box.
But not an official review from either of the teams. It looks like the refs were challenging that. Westward Ho is being sent over to the medics to get checked out.
So solid job by the reffing crew there. Again, like you said it. Didn't wait for an official review to be called here. Neither team needed to use it there. They just caught something and fixed it. So we'll find out in just a little bit there. So this is going to put the Whiskey Rollers at a pack disadvantage, 3 blockers. And then Kalaka and Captain Jack on the jammer line.
It turns out the ref crew was investigating a delayed high block call in the last jam. So the high block was assessed, and the Whiskey Rollers are starting with their jammer in the box as Halloween. Kalaka is on a power jam, and we will see how the beaters capitalize on this.
And the crowd, the AZRD fans here are very excited to see Kalaka on the power jam. Apex jump for lead.
RC throwing a beautiful offensive hit on Wanna Ash Kickin', just so that Kalaka could sneak through with that apex jump. Absolutely phenomenal. Sneaking through backwards on that outside line. The crowd and her bench going wild for it, loving every minute of it. Kalaka being hit to the inside, staying inbound, staying upright, and sneaking past her opposing blockers for yet another 5-point pass. Now we've got Holly Ween
Back
on
on
a
the track.
block on Kalaka.
So Whiskey Rollers got their jammer back out with Holly Ween. Kalaka got one more to beat, avoids the hit. Both jammers out in scoring position. Kalaka saw Holly Ween coming, calls off the jam. 14 points on the board.
All right, looks like both teams are at full strength for this next jam. Oh, I take that back. I'm a liar.
So Holly Ween sent to the box again in the middle, in between jams. All right, here we go. With the power jam, we are seeing Tupacalypse out there with the star on for the first time today.
And getting lead. Tupac getting some great offense from her team and pushing through. Sneaking around on that outside.
Bad News Beaters doing a really good job of setting up the pack on the apex there. Tupacalypse just taking great advantage of coming out of that curve, taking the offensive help.
Beaters pivot, signaling a plan as Tupac comes up. Ooh, sneaking through just barely on that outside line on those toe stops. Fantastic job. Getting the signal from her coach and calling it off before Holly Ween can hit that pack, which puts that at a 10-0 jam for the Beaters.
So at 10 points there, putting the score at 260-56 in favor of the Bad News Beaters. And on the jammer line, we're seeing Cap'n Jack in white up against Sassy Mean Claudine in blue. This is Jack's 12th jam as the jammer out there, so definitely working that endurance today.
Saw Sassy Mean Claudine kind of walking Captain Jack up to her blockers and sneaking through now for lead jammer. Captain Jack, however, breaking pack. And
Sport color.
indeed.
Just calling off the jam at just the right time there. No points for the Rollers, 4 points for the Beaters.
Do, however, have one blocker in the box starting on this jam. D's Nuts, however, she is standing.
On the jammer line, Killer Queen McBee versus Cupcake Kamikaze. Oh, wow. RC just sacrificing Tupac. Killer took a huge hit there.
Quite a spell. Fantastic juke around RC Autobot and Tupac. Ooh, D's coming out of the box and throwing a huge hit onto Killer Queen McBee.
Cupcake Kamikaze, the outside juke there, picks up the points. 5 on the board.
Cupcake Kamikaze pushing up those blockers, trying to get them out of play. Destroyer getting an out of play blocking call.
Ooh, Whiskey Rollers putting 3 blockers to the box.
Cupcake Kamikaze coming back around. The Beaters surrounded that remaining blocker, making it an easy pass for her. All right, in this next jam, we've got clever derby name for the Beaters with Lil Kitty Split for the Whiskey Rollers.
So Lil Kitty Split's going to have some work to do here. Looks like the Whiskey Rollers are only going to have one blocker out there.
That one blocker is Juana Ashkickin.
So Juana's going to do the best to stop Clever Derby Name. Able to get the knockout there. Clever Derby Name able to pick up lead, but has been recycled. Juana with just enough of a hit again. Man, Juana doing a great job as the only blocker out there. Clever Derby Name calling off the jam. Oh, what is it? No points on the board, so called off just in time there. 2 points.
2 points. So we got 2 points each for both teams on that one.
I lost track of the passes there. Wow. Good catch.
All right, and got the jamming duo back on the track again. Got Cupcake Kamikaze.
An official review called right before the whistle.
Cupcake Kamikaze will be jamming against Captain Jack after this official review. Both got a little excited.
I don't blame them. That's a tough one right there. You're waiting for that one whistle, and you get the 4 there, and really you're already gone by the time you realize.
You hear the 4 when you're looking to hear that 1, and your brain just kind of interprets it as go, 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 go now.
So it looks like Whiskey Rollers calling the official review here. So we're looking at about 9.5 minutes left in the period clock on this one, and then we're going to be playing our number 1 versus number 2 for the championships. Skate Riot Project versus the Surly Girlies. So it's going to be AZRD versus AZRD home teams for the coveted Arizona State Roller Derby Championship.
Situational.
Really? Killer? Wow. Yeah, Killer hasn't been out of hole.
She won 1 out of 5, but I think she had to call it off early.
All right, looks like the official review has gone back to the coaches and captains, so we'll get a update on that in a bit here.
With that being said, looks like we're about to get started on this next jam.
So the Whiskey Roller is going to start out with 2 blockers in the box, trying to help Captain Jack there as Cupcake Kamikaze approaches, hits the brace, calls off, or picks up lead.
RC Ottawa coming in with a great hit off that line on Captain Jack, and Westward Ho running back Captain Jack.
Captain Jack working as a little bit of jammer defense there against Cupcake, but ran right into the brace tripod that shoved her out of bounds.
So would you say that was jammer on jammer action? Absolutely not.
Cupcake comes through here, picks up 5 points.
He now has 50.
And that puts Cupcake Kamikaze over 50 points for this bout.
All right.
So that's 3, 4. It's a lot of jammers, over 50. And there's 5 more to the total.
Putting this at a 15-0 jam so far. Captain Jack, however, breaking on what I believe is her initial pass.
Yep.
Yeah, they did not get
Yeah, Captain Jack working against RC and D's Nuts. Cupcake calls off the jam just in time. No points going up for the Whiskey Rollers. 3 more going up. And official review, Bad News Beaters.
So while we're waiting for this official review to go on, the last official review, the Whiskey Rollers believed that they had lead, so they were calling into question the fact that the Beaters had called off the prior jam. Unfortunately, the Whiskey Rollers never obtained lead on that jam, and so therefore they were not in control, and the Beaters were. So they will lose their official review.
So it's been a good one for the refs. Maybe not so much for the coaches and captains. No official reviews have been successful in this bout. Bad News Beaters, though, still have theirs in the second.
Changing captains. Oh. Yeah, they switched out. Yeah. Who's captain now? Clock? Okay.
1547, the captain now. Let me know, okay?
All right, so it looks like the official review has gone back. There we go. Everybody's coming on out there, so this decision has been made. And we'll find out what that is in a moment here. But on this jam coming up here, we're looking at Sassy Mean Claudine up against Holly Queen. Wow. Couldn't read the jersey there, and I couldn't remember the number.
All right, so the Beaters used their official review to take a timeout so that they could change captains. I believe you already mentioned that.
I don't believe we had yet.
All right, so Bully will no longer be the captain. She got an injury, so she'll be sitting out the rest of the game. So Sassy Mean Claudine is going to be the new captain for the rest of the game.
So a swap on the C there. Claudine coming out, picked up the lead. Took a little bit of a spill on turn 4. This turn 4 has been a little bit slick on the sport court here, though. Picks up the points, calls off the jam. 4 more points on the board.
All right, and for this next jam, we've got D's Nuts jamming for the Bad News Beaters up against Lil Kitty Split. Gotta make the joke every time. The joke is needed, otherwise she cannot be on the track.
So D's Nuts is one of those that has to keep the announcers on. We have to say D's Nuts' name last, because you just trigger a moment in the arena.
You just go, who's nuts? And they say,
D's
second, otherwise you can't hear the first one.
D's Nuts picking up lead on this jam. Beaters doing a pretty good job holding back that Whiskey Rollers jammer. D's Nuts whipping through. Picking up 5 points.
Somebody's headed to the box. Okay, 222's headed to the box here. So Venus Death Trap's going to be going to the box with a low block. D's Nuts, 5 more on the board.
Venus Death Trap was the pivot for the Whiskey Rollers in this jam. So,
Holy smokes, the line work there.
absolutely.
Because you can kind of tell D's Nuts is not a new skater.
Oh, definitely not.
A little bit of experience there. Coming around one more time on the points. Outside line. 1 more to beat. 5 more on the points for blue.
That pivot coming out of the box of the Whiskey Rollers. Jammer taking quite a bit of a hit from Tupac. Getting hit out by RC Autobot. Recycling to the back of the pack. Looks like our end of the track is getting a bit slippery.
Man.
Slipping through for another 5 points. We are at a 29-point jam for the Bad News Beaters at the moment.
If anybody's coaching fresh meat or just new skaters and you want to go ahead and show them line work here, snip this. This jam has been just, you want to talk about a class in edge work. D's Nuts able to slide inside, taking the outside line, cutting through. 2 minutes, that's the jam. These nuts picking up those points. 34 on the board.
That's only her second jam.
Every time.
Thank you, folks. Good night.
Who jammed before that? Cup and who?
On the jammer line, Killer Queen McBee versus Clever Derby Name. Clever Derby Name with the hop, skip, and staying in bounds. Lead jammer, Bad News Beaters.
Taking that hit in stride from those blockers. Ooh, taking a bit of a knee on that inside line and calling it off.
Captain Jack taking the star there on. A successful star pass was coming around real fast, putting just enough pressure on there. Actually, a really nice move on that star pass. Extremely smooth for the Whiskey Rollers there. So always a pleasure to see a very well executed star pass.
Absolutely. We've got Cupcake Kamikaze back on the line going up against Halloween. We've seen this matchup a couple of times.
There's RC Autobot and D's Nuts on the backside there, catching Holly right off of the jam line. Cupcake recycled out of bounds, coming back in. So the Whiskey Roller defense fanned out to the backside, picking up blockers along the way. And there it is, Hollywood picking up lead for the Whiskey Rollers.
These Nuts up in that tripod with what looks like Tupac and Westward Ho. RC Autobot taking that panty from Cupcake Kamikaze.
So Holly, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be Holly's first points of the second half. Calls off the jam, I think. Yep, picked up the full 5 points. 5 more points up on the board for the Whiskey Rollers.
And back on the track, we've got Sassy Mean Claudine going up against Lil Kitty Split. Yet again, we've got an empty penalty box, so both teams are at full strength at the moment.
Did you just really intentionally jinx them this late in the game?
I did not. We'll see how the cards fall. Sassy Mean Claudine picking up lead.
I heard a penalty call. I heard a penalty call. It was a lead call.
It wasn't an accident.
This is one of those moments as an announcer we're both sitting here going, please nobody get called on a penalty. I do not want to be blamed for this. Claudine coming through, picking up 4 points on the board.
I refuse to take the blame for any penalties earned. I am not on the track.
Let's face it, y'all want to blame us for everything anyway.
You know what? I'll take it.
You know, that was fine till the announcer said it, then everybody heard it. That was the first time you guys heard us. On the jammer line, RC Autobot versus Killer Queen McBee.
Yep.
RC Autobot.
91.
RC Autobot still the highest score for the Bad News Beaters with 91 points.
So we're going to see if we can get a skater over the triple digit. Saw a few of them
Looks
yesterday.
like it. RC Autobot's declared lead. Still fighting a little bit. One leg in the air. Manages to stay in on that outside line. Speeding around.
So that extends RC's streak. 6 leads straight. 5 points up.
Captain Jack just speeding after her. Looking to catch up. Maybe force her to call off that jam.
You could see RC was thinking about calling off the jam.
Captain Jack receiving a penalty. Not quite sure what for.
And that's over 100 for RC. We're looking at 101 so far, and this is not over yet.
Looks like Captain Jack got to the box and handed back the star cover to Killer Queen B.
Apex hop for 5 more points. Here goes RC one more time on the outside line.
Back on that inside line, seeking through. There she does it again for 5 points on the board yet again.
Lethal Weapon doing a great job there of slowing RC down a moment, but not enough to make a full stop. Oh, and just like that, RC's headed to the box. It's a 2-minute jam.
For a forearm penalty. We do have about 30 seconds left in this game, and this is the last jam of the game.
Period clock running out here. Jams all left.
So-
We've got a wheel loose on the track.
And just rolling.
Oh,
Westward Ho jumping back in front of that jammer.
Killer Queen McBee was making a great move there. 1 foot had barely tapped out of bounds.
D's Nuts drawing her all the way back.
All right, in the last 10 seconds of this jam here, this will end the game here. Queen McBee, Killer Queen McBee knocked out one more time. Reapproaching, that's the 2-minute jam, and that's the game.
All right, so for the unofficial score at the moment, we've got 362 to 63.
Great finish there. This has been a solid finish for this weekend here. Big round of applause for both teams out here after a great weekend. Bad News Breeder from AZRD up against the Northern Arizona Roller Derby Whiskey Rollers. Both teams representing very well. The league should be extremely proud of all their skaters.
And up next, we have the first place game with the Surly Girlies going up against SRP, both from AZRD. It's definitely going to be a hard-hitting, fast-paced game. Going to keep everyone on their toes.
And that's it. That's the final score. We're looking at a final score of Whiskey Rollers 63, Bad News Beaters 363. Skaters taking their victory lap here. We've got a raffle going on the purse in just a few moments here. If you're watching the stream here, you can keep an eye out there. My name is Party on Barth.
My name is Ryan.
And I am Thrash Panda.
Caught Thrash off guard there. Didn't have his microphone turned off. My bad. Hope you guys enjoyed this third place game here. Stick around. Championships game coming up in about 20 minutes.
I don't know how to do it.
I hope. I don't know if it's going to be complicated.
Oh, thank you.
Fine work,
And I will see you again in the next game.
right? In such a long time.
It's off.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, watchers alike, we've got the juniors here with the winner of the raffle.
And the winner is Swamp!
Alright, we got Coach Swamp for the win.
No, Northern Arizona.